Hello, this is Eco Threads Crocheting Sustainably, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet a hibiscus pot holder. Please note that these tutorials are meant to go hand in hand with my pattern booklet, but they both contain the same information. Today we're covering the Hibiscus Pot Holder pattern 6. Okay, so before we get into this pattern, I'm going to show you guys how to read graph patterns so that the pattern is easier to understand. So to read graph patterns in crocheting, you'll first need a graph to reference with a color key. And these instructions are designed to complement the Hibiscus Pot Holder, which already has an embedded graph pattern that I provided for you, and a color key so that you can use. First thing to note, the pattern will be in rows, usually always, entirely with the single crochet stitch. So I have an example here. I just drew out a simple graph with an L. So the first thing to note is that each box represents one stitch. So if this is a 6x6, your work should be 6 stitches long and then 6 rows should be built up. So to start your project, you need to start with a foundation chain, and I'm going to draw little ovals to represent your chain. So that's your foundation chain. Your foundation chain does not count as a row. That is just to help you build your first row. So after you make your foundation chain of the amount of boxes that there are, you would chain one as your turning chain, and then you would work into the first row, your first actual row. So when you start your project, you'll start on the bottom right hand corner, and then you work this way. Sorry, it's crooked. And then down that line. And then you go up, and then you read the next line the opposite way, because when you're creating rows, you're going like this. And then when you reach the end of this row, then you move the opposite way. So you're building up, if that makes sense. So also important thing to note is that your odd rows will always be on the right side and your even rows will always be on the left side. And this is because, again, where you start depends on where the number is. So if you're starting at the bottom right hand corner, which is 1, and then you move this way, then when you move up, you'll be on even row 2. So you start on this side, the left side, and then you work down to the right side again. This is why the numbers are on different sides. And so the pattern will also be written like that. But that part is probably the most confusing when you're reading graph patterns. So essentially, you crochet from the right to left in every odd row, and then you crochet from left to right in every even row. And then you're alternating between directions as you build up your project. However, if you read the pattern, because this is how you read the graph, if you read the pattern, it already follows the direction of the graph, so you don't need to like switch directions or the order you read it in if you're reading the pattern. Just follow the pattern and you'll get the same thing you would as if you're reading the graph. Now, if you aren't confident in reading the graph, it's recommended that you just reference the pattern and ensure that your color changes and stitches are accurate with the graph. Hopefully that made sense, but now I'm going to go into how you start your grid pattern. So you chain the length of the grid horizontally, like I said before. So in this pattern, you'll chain 25, and then you also chain 1 at the end as your turning chain. This does not count as a stitch. You won't go into this stitch until you make the border. So essentially you make 26 chains in total, but you only go into 25 of them. So you single crochet into each stitch back down your foundation chain, excluding your turning chain again, the one you just made. This is your first row where you should have total 25 total single crochets. And when you're making this pattern, every row should be 25 stitches because you're not decreasing or adding any stitches. It should be all 25. Also note that for this first row, you're working from the right to the left of the graph. And then in your next row, you're gonna work left to right. So when you read the graph, you start to the left and then you work away to the right. Last part of this, when you're changing colors for your pattern, refer to your color key to distinguish what color is A and what color is B. So you're going to use method 3, and then you're going to carry your yarn color throughout the entire pattern so you can quickly switch between your colors when you need to. This creates a reversible effect where both sides of your finished project are the right side. I'll just show you an example. So again, this is how it looks. So both of these sides are the right side. This would be an example of a reversible project again, and this is done when you carry both colors throughout your entire project. So specifically for single crochet color changes, because it's different with this different stitches you're using. This one is single crochet, so I'll teach you how to do a single crochet color change. So with your old color, so if I was using A, which is pink, then I'll the stitch right before I need a color change, I'll just insert my hook like normally, yarn over, pull through. Before I yarn over and pull through my last 2 loops on the hook, that's where I'll loop my new color, which is B, which is also white. I'll loop white onto my hook, and then I'll pull through the 2 loops, and then now I have my white yarn, and then I will continue the amount of stitches I need for white before I need to change colors A. That will make more sense in the pattern, but I also go through this in episode 1 where I teach you the 3 different methods for color changes. But yeah, you should have all you need to know for following this pattern, and good luck. Here's what the final product looks like, but before we get into the pattern, here's the details of the project. This project falls under the home and kitchen accessories category. Moving on to the materials, you're going to need a 4mm crochet hook, pink and white 4 worsted yarn. Also note that using recycled cotton yarn would be better for this project. A darning needle, scissors, and stitch markers are recommended. You can use this for handling hot pots and pans. Skills that you'll learn include following a grid pattern, tapestry crochet, carrying yarn through color work, and working in the row. Stitches used are the chain, slip stitch, and single crochet, and the final dimensions of this project are approximately 4.5 by 7 inches. The level of difficulty is also 2 out of 3. Moving on to the pattern notes, this pattern is written so you can choose which colors to be A and B, but my pattern is used using this key. A is pink and B is white. Change colors when prompted using method 3 and refer to changing colors for help. I've included the grid pattern here on the screen for you to follow. I'll also have each row written down on the screen so that you can follow along. For step 1, we're going to be creating the foundation, which is starting with color A, which in this case is pink, and we're going to start with a slip knot. After you've created the slip knot, we're going to chain 25 for the length of the grid. Once you finish that chain, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Moving on to step 2, we're going to be creating the base. So to start off with row 1, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then we're going to single crochet 24. This means that we'll single crochet 1 in the next 24 chains, again just going into that back loop of each chain. You'll work until the end of your row, and then once you reach the end, chain 1 and turn. Again, you should have 25 stitches at the end of this row, and you should actually have 25 stitches at the end of each row in this project. Once you finish this row, chain 1 and then turn, and for row 2, we're going to be working 1 single crochet into each stitch across. Essentially, we're creating 25 single crochets across of this row. Once we reach the end, you're going to chain 1 for your turning chain and then turn. Note that we do not have any color changes yet, so these first 2 rows are just color A. Here's how your project is going to look so far, and note that it is going to curl up a little, but don't worry about that. Moving on to row 3, we're going to single crochet 8, so single crochet 1 into the next 8 stitches. And then the single crochet stitch right before we need a color change, so this one right here, right before you do that last yarn over, we're going to loop our new color, which is color B, onto our hook. So right before that last yarn over, we're just going to loop color B, pull through, and then tighten that color A tail end. We're not going to cut anything just yet. Leave the white tail end and just single crochet 3 with color B. So 1, 2, and then since you're already carrying the color A yarn, you're going to drop it and pick it back up on that last yarn over of the 3rd single crochet. Now with color A, you're gonna single crochet 14, remembering to carry your color B tail end through all of your stitches. So from now on, we're going to be carrying your inactive color, hiding it into your active color yarn. So again, single crochet 14 across until you reach the end of the row. Here's how it should look so far, and I would recommend just stretching out your project after every row because carrying your tail ends can cause your project to scrunch up a little, so you don't want it to be distorted, so just make sure that you stretch it. You're just going to chain 1 and turn. So to start row 4, we're going to single crochet 6 and remember to bring that color B tail end across so that you can continue working into it. So again, single crochet 6 with color A, hiding color B in your stitches. And this single crochet right before a color change, you're going to loop the new color onto that last yarn over. Just like so, and then tighten up your stitches, and then we're going to single crochet 4 with color B, still crocheting over color A's tail end. When you're on the last stitch, you're going to loop your new color onto that last yarn over, and then repeat this step. You're going to crochet, single crochet 3 for yarn A, 2, and then switch to B right here, yarn over, pull through, and you're going to single crochet 6 for color B. So now hopefully you understand the pattern. So now I'm just going to be saying how many stitches to do with that color, and you should know to pick up when you have to do your color changes. After you create your 6 single crochet with color B, we're going to switch to color A and single crochet 6 again to complete this row. Remember that you're always crocheting over your inactive yarn color. And here's how your project should be looking so far. So this is the front of your project, in where the design is going to be straight as it is on the grid pattern. Moving on to row 5, we're going to start with single crochet 5. Switch to color B and single crochet 8. Switch to color A and single crochet 1. Switch to color B and single crochet 6. Switch to color A and single crochet 5. And then to end the row, chain 1, turn. To start row 6, single crochet 5. Switch to color B, single crochet 6. Switch to color A, single crochet 1. Switch to color B, single crochet 9. Switch to color A, single crochet 4. Chain 1 and turn. To start row 7, we're going to start with single crocheting 4. Switch to color B and single crochet 8. Switch to color A and single crochet 2. Switch to color B and single crochet 6. Switch to color A and single crochet 5. And then to end the row, chain 1 and turn. Moving on to row 8, we're going to start with 6 single crochets. Switch to color B and single crochet 2. Switch to color A and single crochet 2 as well. Switch back to color B and single crochet 2. Switch to color A and single crochet 1. Switch to color B and single crochet 2. Switch to color A and single crochet 2. Switch to color B and single crochet 4. Switch to color A, single crochet 4 to complete the row. And then chain 1 and turn. Here's how your project should be looking so far. Moving on to row 9, we're going to single crochet 5, switch to color B, single crochet 3, switch back to color A and single crochet 3, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 1, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 2, switch to color A, single crochet 7, and to end the row, chain 1 and turn. Moving on to row 10, we're going to start with 8 single crochets, switch to color B and single crochet 2, switch to color A, single crochet 1, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 3, switch to color B, single crochet 3, and then switch to color A and single crochet 7 to end the row. Next, you're going to chain 1, turn, and then you're ready to move on to the next row. So moving on to row 11, we're going to single crochet 4, switch to color B, single crochet 2, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 3, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 1, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 3, and then switch to color A, single crochet 4. To end the row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Again, you should still have 25 stitches at the end of each row. So now we just continue on to row 12, which we're going to start with a single crochet 3. Switch to color B, single crochet 5. Switch to color A, single crochet 6. Switch to color B, single crochet 1. Switch to color A, single crochet 3. Switch to color B, single crochet 4. Switch to color A, single crochet 3. And then end the row by chaining 1 and turning. Moving on to row 13, we're going to start with a single crochet 2. Switch to color B, single crochet 7. Switch to color A, single crochet 1. Switch to color B, single crochet 1. Switch back to color A, single crochet 1. Switch to color B, single crochet 1. Switch to color A, single crochet 2. Switch to color B, single crochet 3. Switch to color A, single crochet 1. Switch to color B, single crochet 4. And then switch back to color A, single crochet 2. To end the row, chain 1 and turn, again keeping 25 stitches in each of your rows. So moving on to row 14, we're going to start with single crocheting 2, switch to color B, single crochet 4, switch to color A, single crochet 5, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 7, switch to color B, single crochet 4, switch to color A and then single crochet 2. End off the row as normally, chaining 1 and turning. Moving on to row 15, we're going to single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 4, switch to color A, single crochet 1, switch to color B, single crochet 3, switch to color A, single crochet 4, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 5, switch to color A, single crochet 3, and then to end the row, chain 1 and turn. Moving on to row 16, we're going to start with single crocheting 5, switch to color B, single crochet 3, switch to color A, single crochet 1, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 1, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 5, and then switch to color A, single crochet 3. To end the row, chain 1 and turn. Moving on to row 17, we're going to single crochet 4, switch to color B, single crochet 3, switch to color A, single crochet 3, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 1, switch to color B, single crochet 2, switch to color A, single crochet 1, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A and then single crochet 9, and then chain 1 to turn. Moving on to row 18, we're going to single crochet 8, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 2, and then switch to color A, single crochet 9, and then to end the row, chain 1 and turn. Moving on to row 19, we're going to start with single crochet 8 again, switch to color B, single crochet 2, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 2, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 2, and then lastly switch to color A, single crochet 7. To end the row, chain 1 and turn. Moving on to row 20, we're going to single crochet 5, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 1, switch to color B, single crochet 2, switch to color A, single crochet 2, switch to color B, single crochet 6, and then switch to color A, single crochet 8. To end the row, chain 1 and turn. Here's how your project should be looking so far. Moving on to row 21, we're going to single crochet 8, switch to color B, single crochet 6, switch to color A, single crochet 11, and then finish off the row by chaining 1 and turning. Sorry, it just turned nighttime, please bear with me. To start row 22, we're going to single crochet 6, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 1, switch to color B, single crochet 1, switch to color A, single crochet 3, switch to color B, single crochet 5, and then switch to color A, single crochet 8. Finish off the row by chaining 1, turn. Moving on to row 23, we're going to be single crocheting 9, and then switch to color B for the last time, single crochet 2, and then we're only going to continue with color A from now on. So no more color changes, just crochet with color A. And then we're going to fasten off B by just cutting a long enough tail end for weaving. We're going to finish this row off by single crocheting 14, and then chain 1 and turn. Also for row 24 and 25, you're just going to be single crocheting 1 in each stitch across. For row 24, don't forget to chain 1 and turn. And then for row 25, once you complete your 25 stitches across, then you're just going to continue straight on to the next step. So here you can just see that I'm finishing up row 25. Again, I should have 25 stitches in total. So we're going to continue straight on to step 3, which is creating the border and the hanging loop of your pot holder. So the first step is going to be to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet evenly around the entire edge of the pot holder. So we're also going to be working 3 single crochets into the same stitch at each corner stitch to keep the border flat to prevent curling. So in that same chain space, you're going to single crochet 3 in the same stitch. And then we're just going to single crochet along the sides, and then the bottom on the other side of the chain, the other right side, and then the top, which is regular stitches. So really when you're crocheting along the sides, you just want to insert your hook where you see every row at, so that you essentially will have 25 on each side. But it does not need to be perfect, but ideally you would single crochet 1 into each row. So just a tip, keep your tension a little looser when you're creating the border, because if you create it too tight, then again your project will be a little more distorted. Especially when you're creating the border, you do want it to be a little loose just to give more leeway for your stitches to fit nicely in your project. After moving down your first side, you're going to reach your first tail end of color A, and you want to carry that tail end into your stitches just so that you can make weaving in your ends easier. Again, when you reach a corner space, you're going to single crochet 3 into the same stitch in that corner. So 1, 2, and then 3. So just pick up the tail end, and then you're going to single crochet in each of the chain spaces that you didn't go into in your foundation, step 1. And then we're just going to continue all around until we finish that border. When you reach the end of your border, you're going to join with a slip stitch into that first single crochet stitch that you made in the beginning. Then you're going to chain 15 for the hanging loop on your pot holder, and this is just going to be where you hang your pot holder up. So after you chain 15, you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch right here, and it's going to form a loop. You're going to slip stitch into the next stitch and then chain 1 to fasten off. Cut your yarn and then weave in your ends. Here's how your final product should look like. So here's both of the pot holders that I made, and I hope you enjoyed this pattern, and thank you for following along. Thanks for watching this episode of Eco Threads. I hope you learned something new, and I appreciate you for all your support. Mahalo.